Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Exploring Aliveness podcast. My friend is still, Pablo is still on retreat, so I have another guest today. It's with my good friend Kyle. You can introduce yourself, how you're feeling, what's
What's
up.
up? I'm Kyle. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling excited. Um, yeah, I have no idea how this is gonna go. I wish I could hide my self view, but let's get into it.
Podcasting, let's go. Today
Let's
we're
go.
planning on talking about masculinity and like the emotional side of masculinity, stoicism, and like our general like not evolution, but like there's I guess like what's alive for me around masculinity is like the dark side of it. Been going through my own shit recently, and it's like brought up a lot of like seeing like the dark side of like people who are masculine, quote unquote. And like it's bringing up a lot. Like that feels very alive for me, and been like interested in talking about that.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, Kyle, what's your definition of masculinity? How would you
Oh
define
man.
it?
Yeah. Um, I've been grappling with this a lot the past few years because I think it's been evolving so much. But I feel like in its simplest form, masculinity is this initiative, this drive, sort of inserting yourself into the world. Um, you can think of like Nietzsche's will to power, bringing your internal will and desire outwards into the world.
I'm like, how that's landing for me right now is like will to power. I'm like imagining in the AOA landscape of like there's like love and there's empowerment, and empowerment is like to be able to do anything without a problem. Like masculinity is more of that like empowerment side of like I can show up, I can do, I don't have problems, I can create the life I want. Like there's that without like the struggles of like not struggles, but like without the anxieties or like the masculine archetype is like being able to be empowered, show up empowered, and like be able to create what you want. How does that land?
Yeah, dude. You just as you were speaking, I was thinking of that guy, Alicia Long, the retard maxing guy. That feels like masculinity to me. It's just leading from the gut, just like leaking power, like just no fucks given, no anxiety, no second thoughts. Yeah,
That's so funny. That's so funny. The retard
that's
maxing guy,
masculinity. Retard
epitome of
maxing.
masculinity, dude. Is it just like what I'm getting from that is like there's something about people who are gut first that feels incredibly masculine, where like they go for what they want, and they get it. They get angry. There's like this like rawness to it. There's this just go like there's this rawness. There's like the simplicity. There's a simplicity in it.
Yeah.
Retard Max. There's like a simplicity in it as well. Yeah, I don't know what comes up when I say that.
Yeah. No, that's very real. It's just like man dumb. Like man want this, man go get it, you know. There's this shamelessness to it. Like pure subjectivity in many ways feels like masculinity. Um,
Pure
yeah. Like
subjectivity.
yeah.
That's cool. I didn't think of it
Yeah.
like that. Like
Yeah,
how
I
that's
like
landing for me
uh
is like. Sorry for interrupting you.
prefer.
Like there's like a way in which like the feelings and the internal, the thinking, the art analyzing, it's like more feminine in some way. Like I don't know how that makes sense, but
Yeah, there's this I'm thinking of like in philosophy like Simone de Beauvoir like the second sex is all about how women are positioned as like secondary to the man who is like sort of able to be fully a subject in the world, and the woman has to sort of like analyze her positionality, and she has to observe like group dynamics and like how she appears and make sure that like she doesn't, her status isn't too high or too low. um, that feels very related as far as like the traditional image of masculinity is like very much someone who just like doesn't give a fuck. Like he's not concerned about how he looks, about what other people think of him. Um, and I think it's interesting because the modern world is very much like, everyone is like overthinking and analyzing everything all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels so simple. I feel like there's like not much to add there. I mean, I feel like there is more to masculinity than just like simple like me dumb, me go get what want, me get what want, me live, me
Yeah.
happy. Like I feel like there's more of like there's like this mature the way that I think about masculinity, I guess I can go into that, is like I imagine like the Holy Father of like this highly attuned fatherly figure who's like emotionally available, doesn't see a problem with anything that's happening. Um, I wouldn't say dumb, but like is able to hold, is able to hold, regard like hold anything that happens without freaking out. Like there's this like safety, this almost like
Yeah.
tree-like energy of like I am ground, I am the ground in which you exist, and you are safe here, and I can handle you no matter what's happening. And this includes like the emotional realm of like, oh, all your emotions are also welcome here. Everything is welcome here. If there's a problem, I'll solve it. Like it'll be fine. Like that's what I imagine as masculinity. And there's like this like there is that simplicity that like the retard Maxon guy has of like just show up, don't think, gut first. But like the thing that it feels like it's missing in that is like you can be gut first, but like attunement requires heart, and heart is feelings, and feelings can be complicated. And there's a way in which what I've seen is there's a lot of archetypes of people I view as incredibly masculine, problematic in a way, charismatic, but like don't have that heart. Like they are very fucking forward. Like I would say Donald Trump is one of these people, charismatic, gut first, like abuse. There's abuse because they don't feel it. Like there's this like abuse in it, and like if you have kids or like if you're attuning, you can't attune to people if your heart's not online. So there's like this like in a way what I view as a twisted masculinity that comes with just gut first, not having your heart online, where there isn't that sensitivity, that there isn't that care that the world requires. Like there is this, I will step on the flower and it's fine because I'm going over there, instead of I'll go over there and all the flowers will be safe. Like I feel like there's like this more mature masculine that does exist in the world, that I would say Joe Hudson is a great person who represents it. And there's probably other people out there where like there's nothing to be ashamed of. You are loved here, and I'm going to hold these boundaries that makes sure that my community is safe, make sure that I feel I am safe and you are safe. Like I'm not going to let, even if you want to hurt people, I'm not going to let you hurt people.
Yeah. Yeah, I I love the tree metaphor. Like there's like man as a container, as like this place of safety. Like a fortress versus like man as monolith, right? That's like Donald Trump, like Andrew Tate, like this like they are the very like gut first, but yeah, don't have that like space, that empathy. Yeah. I'm curious, like, where you think Stoic narcissism comes into play here. We talked a little bit about that.
The stoic narcissist. I feel like the stoic narcissist, like, there's a there's a way in which they don't have either. Like, that's very intellectual. Like the stoic narcissist is cold. There isn't that fire that like these gut first people have. There's like this coldness. There's this intellect. There's this
The Sigma
sharpness.
male.
Yeah, there's this sigma male. There's this aloneness in it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I like fit into that category like right now because I'm hiding from my emotions, but also like in the past when I was trying to not feel my feelings.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's like calculated. It's analyzed. It's I'm better than you. It's
Hmm.
not soft. It's not held. It's there is a safety in it of like the stoic narcissist doesn't see a problem with anything. So you don't feel judged. You don't feel like this they're gonna like hurt you. And in that like you can feel safe in it, but there's also like a you don't actually know if they like care about you, depending on like how narcissistic it goes. Because I feel like if you're stoic, if you're just stoic, but you have a lot of empathy, like there's gonna be care. Um, yeah. How does that? What comes up for you?
Hmm. What comes up for me is I've like definitely been that guy in relationships. Yeah. Yeah. I remember like talking with my ex about how I was getting into Buddhism and that was why I couldn't feel my feelings. Yeah.
What makes you laugh when you share that?
Um it's I think it's just a very common pitfall of like getting into um some of these like contemplative traditions, Stoicism, Buddhism, um, where it's very easy for the teachings or the philosophy to be interpreted as just like don't care about anything, just detach yourself. Um, One of the first self help books I ever read was Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and that's like, if you think about the title, it's like, oh, like I just don't care about anything. But if you read the book and you like pay attention to what's under like behind the words, it's like, oh, actually, like you have a limited amount of things that you can care about, and so the subtle art of not giving a fuck, and same with Stoicism and Buddhism in many ways, is like deciding what you want to care about. Um, yeah.
Yeah. What I'm getting from that is like there is this care in stoicism in like this traditional masculine sphere of like to care about the things that matter and don't give your attention to the things that don't. Um, there is a heart to that, is what I'm hearing. And then there's like a very easy way you can misinterpret it of like, don't care about anything, so you don't care. And then you can just show up in the world and be a cold, emotionless robot that can do what you want.
Hmm. What do you feel like doesn't work about that strategy? Because what comes up for me is like, don't care about anything really, and this is related to like the narcissism piece, is when you don't care about anything, all you ended up caring about is yourself. It's like focus on yourself, the traditional like self-help, self-improvement, just read books, go to the gym, like focus on your business or making money, whatever. Um, why doesn't it work?
What do you mean by work? I feel like it does work. That's why so many people
Mm,
do it. Like work for what context? Like does it work for joy, peace, and enjoyment? Probably not. Does it
mm-hmm,
work for, emotional detachment and then like going for what you want? Probably. Like there's probably just less turmoil, less conflict, less things to care about. Like you could probably like there's something about like humans are complicated creatures. Like and when you care about a human being, like all of these emotions come up. And there's a lot there. It's not complicated, but like to love all your emotions is a big task. And when you can just shut it all down, like the focus is so much more sharper. But if you're shutting down all your emotions, there's no joy, there's no love, there's no excitement, but there's also no fear, there's no anger, there's no sadness. But they come hand in hand. So I feel like it does work and also like works the does work is very like context dependent.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm curious about like what the blockage is, what the blockage is like between these two modes of being. Um, because I'd imagine like at least speaking for myself, pre inner work stuff, pre like figuring out how to tap into the emotions and like the full sort of breadth of experience. Um, my belief was very much that like I don't need to experience all these emotions. Um, and I didn't even really want to. I didn't feel the potential benefit, enjoyment, pleasure of like feeling anger or fear or shame or sadness. And so it's like in that state, I preferred to not feel anything because I'm like, then I can just go about my life, right? Yeah, how is that gap bridged?
I don't know. You kind of just get sick of it. It's like, I don't, that's like my experience, right? It's like, oh, you got the job, you got the wife, you got the girlfriend or whatever, you got the things. And guess what you feel? Nothing. And it's like, okay, what's the next thing? Or you get the next thing. What do you feel? Nothing. And then you're like, wait, this feeling thing feels kind of important because I don't feel
Mm,
anything. And then
yeah.
that's for me, like, got the job, was like dating, and felt successful in the metrics that I thought was success. And I was like, life kind of is eh. And then I felt called, like I felt a calling to go to meditation retreat. Got called to feel my feelings more. That was my experience of it. What was your experience of it?
Yeah, very similar. Um, I'm reminded of the article you shared with me about like human AI alignment and how it's really just about like repeating that cycle enough times of like, oh, when this, then I'll be happy. Um, and you do it enough times and you like hit a big enough cycle. At least for me, it was like there were a few moments where I had like really hyped it up for myself of like I was really lonely in like middle school and parts of high school and didn't have a lot of friends. I went from like having friends to not having friends and like riding the extremes of that and then going into self improvement, working on myself, working on my social skills, whatever, dating, and then like having everything I thought I wanted, and similarly like learning sales in college and then making a lot more money than I even like thought I wanted, hitting a lot of like fitness goals and various like all of these things, all these improvement projects, and yeah, it like happened enough times where on the flip side, similarly, it was like, oh, I feel nothing, and because I feel nothing relative to what I thought I would feel like top of the world. I feel the same, and like when expectation meets reality, it's just like depression, like very deep, like periods of hopelessness and what the fuck is this all even for? Um, that I would say that's what led me to like a more inner exploration. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's a way in which like we try to embody like the first version of masculinity we talked about because that's what we hear is what like we should be.
Mm.
And then we like get there and then we're like, this kind of sucks. This kind of blows. And then we're like, but the feelings though, and then we delve into like I would say like the feminine quote unquote of like the heart, and then there's a mess. Like usually, like my experience of it is like when you're avoiding your feelings for most of your life, there's probably a mess in your feelings, and then you have to like get through the shit before you get to the gold. Like you get through the depression has a lot of repressed anger, repressed grief, repressed sadness, repressed fear, and as you feel through that, like learn to enjoy each of those, then the fruits of it comes of like joy, of pleasure, of actual in like happiness and enjoyment. And then life just becomes that of like it's like yeah, I can have the first thing, but now I can have the feelings too. Like I can still go improve if I want to, but it's not about the improvement, it's about what I'm doing. Like it's about the enjoyment of the moment. And I feel like that's like the transition that happens. And I feel like there's like an ego disillusion for that whole process of like even in masculinity, like being a man, quote unquote, it is like a process of seeing the fruitlessness of external fruits.
Mm.
Like I don't know how else to
Uh-huh.
describe it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know, there's also some like what's interesting to me about that, like what you're talking about, the seeing through like the external validation and all of that. Um, there's this like corresponding feminine quality, feminine spiritual manifesty quality of like you don't chase, you attract. Um, and there like seems to be this like flip um, where you develop this like non-attachment, you could say, and then like even more material success potentially comes. Um, but it's not like fakeable. It's not like it's not really gameable.
Could you elaborate more on the attract piece? I feel like there's a gap I'm not fully understanding.
Hmm. I think of it as like wanting versus needing. Um, if you need something to happen, there's just so much external pressure that you know, like let's say you're going on a first date and you're just like your mindset going into it is like this is my only chance to impress this girl. Like this person is gonna be like my life partner. It's 0 or 100. Like whether or not this date goes well, like we'll say something about my worth, and you very much like need a result from it. That needing is like I think is what drives a lot of people like a lot of people to just kind of crash and burn. But completely detaching yourself also doesn't work because then like you go on the date and instead of being super anxious and like weird and pressury, you're just like not there. Just complete robot NPC. And
Kind
so
of
it's like
works.
you, it maybe. Yeah, yeah. There's different ways in which all these things work for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I think one interesting piece of masculinity for me is like being able to want things publicly,
Mm.
and being able to own wants and like I actually think a lot about sales. I feel like this taught it to me in many ways of just like I did door-to-door sales and I would literally knock on people's doors and ask them to give me their credit cards. Um, and there's something about learning the shamelessness of that and also like re tinkering with my beliefs and reframing like my own worldview to the point where it's like, oh, I can actually just ask. It's not like I'm not imposing on you by like asking for something. I'm not forcing you to give me something.
Yeah.
Um,
You're just like,
yeah,
hey, I want to sell you this. Do you want it?
right,
More
right,
than, yeah. Cool.
yeah,
That's really cool. I feel like there's like a deep, deep vulnerability in owning your wants. And like
yes,
there is something like big about it. Something like masculine, but more so just like empowering about like no matter who does it. I feel like also I want to add the context of like I don't think masculinity needs to be gender specific.
mm-hmm.
Like it just like qualities of masculinity is what we're talking about, and it's like that like will to power, but also like knowing what you want and owning it feels just like that. There's something there. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like? What do you feel like? How would you define femininity?
Like I would say like both has like masculinity is like knowing what you want and going for it, and then like femininity feels like knowing what you want and receiving it. Like there's like this like allowing it to come in. Like it's like there's yeah. There's like this receiving is what I'm projecting onto femininity versus like action is what I'm projecting onto masculinity. Like the yin and the yang. Yin.
Yeah, the yin energy. Hmm. I feel like I learned a lot um, in a body sense of like what masculinity and femininity is from like training, like exercise. I for years all of my physical movement would be like heavy powerlifting, like sprinting, like short distance sprinting, just very like aggressive, intense, like all out efforts, like super high muscle tension, super high focus, like, and then around the time I started doing some like emotional work, I also tried like yin yoga for the first time. And it was like this huge release. Every session, I would just do it like once a week. Every session, just like learning to like down regulate my nervous system and like do less and like just lay on the mat or just do like a light stretch, and stay with my body and experience for that for like 40 minutes, an hour was like, I don't know, just insane. Yeah.
That's so fun. It's like the range. Like it's actually like doing and then receiving. You like did them both.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like there's like something, or like in the heart of darkness there's light, in the heart of light there's darkness thing going on with like masculinity and femininity, like, which is why like the second archetype of masculinity that I was describing has so much heart, which feels like a feminine quality, but in the heart of the most masculine person I know, like Joe Hudson, or like people who have that heart but also that empowerment, is this deep care and love for the world. And then at the heart of like the most loving people is like this deep empowerment of like boundaries and strength. And I feel like they go hand in hand. And like you kind of need the depth of both to be a representation of either.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about anima integration? It feels relevant.
Fuck, sure, yeah. So anima and animus is like the Jungian, like feminine, inner masculine. Like for a guy, it's like this, like the women inside, like the feminine in you, and then for women, it's the masculine in them. I feel like there is like it's like basically shadow work. It's like, what are qualities of the masculine that you like look up to, or in a way despise when you see them, and or qualities in general associated with masculinity that you look up to or despise, and then like, what does that tell you about your own masculinity? I feel like I'm being a little abstract here, but what I mean is like, if you see someone who's really rule following, are you like, it's like, oh, that guy's cool, he's following his rules, or are you like, this guy's fucking weird, he's like following all these rules, he's so strict, or are you like, whoa, he's so amazing, I'm looking up to him because he's able to be so strict and follow all these rules? Like each of those signals something. Like one is like, it's like, I can follow rules too, it's fine. Like I have this quality of like being able to be strict with myself. Like I have this quality. The other one is like, whoa, this guy can do this, but I can't. There's like this like pedestalization of a regiment and order, because probably like you feel like if you were orderly, something bad would happen in your life, or you'd miss out on something. So there's like unintegrated part of that. And then if you resent him for being orderly, then there is this like like there's this repression of your own orderliness. And integration is like include and transcend. So like if your orderliness is integrated, then like you can be orderly, but you also don't have to be. But if it's repressed, then like you just can't do it, and you like judge everyone else who has done it. And I feel like integrating your anima or your animus is like integrating like the feminine. For men, it's like the feminine qualities that we either put on a pedestal for women, or like judge in other men when they display it, or even women when they display it, or like just the masculine qualities of the, like masculine qualities in general. It's like the same thing of like you either put a man up on a pedestal or you judge them. And I feel like it's just like a really good framework is how I think about it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a ton of thoughts, but I'm curious, like, if we go into specifics here, like, let's say I see someone who's like very strict rule following, and I'm just like, fuck that guy. Like, what is that, what's the sort of like analysis that would sort of, or inquiry that would lead to, looking inwards at myself?
was like, what about that is fuck that guy?
He's just so like anal, like why is he following all these? Why does he care so much?
What's wrong with that?
Um, just like chill out, bro. You're doing too much.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like, what happens if you're doing too much?
Mm.
If you were anal about something, if you really cared about something.
Yeah. For me, that's like it's like almost embarrassing. Like I'm not allowed to care that much.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
allowed to. There's like a
yeah.
shame there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like for the rules, I don't care. I'm like I just it's not about the rules, but it's more so about that like dedication,
Quality. Yeah.
strictness. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
that bringing it inwards and be like, okay, how do I judge these characteristics about myself?
Hmm. And then the next step is like, oh, if I couldn't shame myself, like, or like, how did I learn to shame myself there? Like, what caused me to
Mm.
shame, feel embarrassed if I'm dedicated to something? Like, what's
Mm.
that about?
Mm. Mm. Yeah. What's my mind is jumping to the other extreme right now, and I'm
Hmm.
thinking like on in terms of the not just the individual analysis, but like the Jungian concept of like collective unconscious.
Yeah.
Um, I saw this tweet that said something along the lines of, if you want to become really famous, especially on social media, find a repressed archetype in the collective unconscious and embody it to the max.
That's so good.
Yeah,
Oh, that makes me cringe, dude. It's so
yeah,
true.
it's so true. Um, yeah, there's this book called Escape from Freedom. It's written by
Hmm.
this like philosopher and psychoanalyst Eric Fromm, and he talks about how or he analyzes sort of like the rise of fascism during World War II and like Hitler and Stalinism, and how this was a direct response to like the repression of masculinity and he didn't use I don't think he specifically used the term masculinity in the book, but this idea of like there was the modern world had become so independent and like lacking sort of leadership structure authority, um, because there was now the world went from being very like hierarchical to with the development of technology with like women's rights and like freedom across the world now is like there's this absence of purpose, there's this absence of like direction in the world with the destruction of like religion as well, or at least like mainstream religion atheism is now like proliferating. There's no longer this like god figure, there's no longer this like capital P purpose that most people are aligned with, and in the absence of that, like boom, fascism, boom, like these dictator leaders who are able to like provide that sense of purpose and direction.
Yeah. I'm like imagining like similar thing happening in the current world of like repression of like self-expression, like everyone being shamed in some way, everyone being in their own head. Like it's like the main thing is like everyone being stuck in their own head. So like
Yeah.
any leader who is not self-conscious, any leader who's good at self-expression, at being themselves in a way that like people want to be, like that's like put up on a pedestal. And then we got fucking Trump. And then we have Trump, it's I feel like there's something similar happening where like there's like in a way like our shadow of like we think there is, we're like we're managing our life. Like I feel like not me or you, but like the US and a lot of people are like managing their lives so hard to make it perfect, and in that there's so much chaos going on in their head that like when you have an external representation of someone who is not chaotic, who is no self-managing thoughts, he's just like doing his shit, you're like, wow, let me make this person our leader. But in the act of you making that person a leader, like the world is just chaotic. Like there's just like chaos everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't think it was a coincidence that like Trump was elected within a few years of like the Me Too movement. Like it just doesn't. It feels deeply, deeply interconnected. Like um, I work with a lot of young men, and like a big thing that they express in with regards to like social situations and especially their dating lives is like this filtering, this like constant, um, how would you call it? Like hypervigilance of what they're saying and how that might be misinterpreted or used against them. And this like deep existential fear of like being canceled or saying the wrong thing. Um, yeah, it's like
That's,
I've definitely
yeah.
experienced that too. Like we've both taken ultra speaking. Like there's so much in there of just like learning that oh it's like if I like learning to dial down the filter and realizing that like oh like the things that I say are acceptable.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like that's the main thing of like the you don't have to think. You can just like I went into my head there, but also like if I didn't, I just like gut first, like pause and then say the thing that comes up next. It's usually fine. It's not only fine, it's like like it's enjoyable and it's like easy.
Hmm.
And most people
Yeah.
appreciate when it's the authentic, like unfiltered thoughts are appreciated. If there isn't like a shame thing happening, like I've
Hmm.
noticed like if my unfiltered thoughts have shame, there's like this like weird thing that happens that like make people other people uncomfortable as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
But like if you're not feeling shameful, like you're just gonna say things and it's just fine. And people will be like, he's saying things and it's fine.
Yeah. Or like people will judge you, but then if you have that underlying like stability, it's like oh like that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
judgment is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like I noticed like you described this very well of like the ability to go down. Like there's almost this like slider of awareness, this the skill of just being able to go from the head and drop down into the body.
Yeah.
Um, as someone who, like previously, this was like impossible for me. Like I could not go below the neck. Even when cued to, like I worked with a lot of coaches. I like learned intellectually about all this emotional work, but I, like every time I just feel like I'm hitting this wall. What do you feel like is the blocker there?
You tell me. You said you just what helped you get into your body?
I don't know. I think like honestly, yoga helped a lot, and just working out. But like, yeah, it's I want to say like so many things. So for me, it's like hard to. I wonder what the mechanism is because like yoga was a big one. Um, Years of training helped. Well, built the foundation, but like it didn't bridge the gap. I would say. What else? I mean, you mentioned shame. I think that's a big piece actually.
Yeah.
Um, the shame is like the self-referential thing that like makes it feel unacceptable. That's like trying to the ego. I don't. Ego is such a loaded like buzzword that it's hard to use that in a specific way. But I do feel like a lot of it's getting over shame. Existential kink probably helped a lot, to be honest. Of
Yeah.
just like being allowing myself to even think like shameful or bad thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the same for me. There's like so many different things.
Hmm.
Um, like the easiest is just like I was like hanging out with this girl yesterday and like she was like, I don't know how to feel. Like it's so hard to feel my body. And I was like, you're holding my hand. What does that feel like? And then she would sort of described it in like like exquisite detail, like the temperature of my fingers, the texture, like everything. And I was like,
Hmm.
how'd you do that? I was like, awareness? And I was like, so what happens if you put your awareness in your body? And then she describes the numbness in her body, and I'm like, that's also a feeling. Like that's also there. And you can talk from the numbness, like if that's what's there in the heart, that's what's there in the gut. Like you can talk from that. And
Hmm.
then like awareness, like things, like the nature of reality is to change, is my experience. So like if you put awareness in your heart long enough, you're like, it'll continue to unfold and change and change and change. Like you don't have to do anything. But it's like, what are the practices where putting awareness in my body is most enjoyable? It's like yoga, go work out, ultra speaking, working with coaches, existential kink to the unshame. It's like shame is probably not enjoyable, and shame is blocking the change, because shame is like holding everything in place. That's my experience of it, and for me it like took a long time, like meditation, emotional work. I did an Alexander Technique session recently with Louis Tennant and then another coach. That shit was fucking magical. Like that gets you in your body, but also like really dysregulating because it was like really intense. Because like they just like target like the place in your body that's like holding the tension so that you don't feel your body. And they're just like, okay, what happens if you do this? And you're like, ah, so much fear that I'm repressing, so much grief. Well, I just did that. Oh, I could feel. I said that, but I also felt the repressed grief I have right now. Because in Alexander Technique, it's like, it's the place the spine connects with your skull that holds most of the tension for how you're disconnected from your head and your body. And if you go, like, if you slightly look down and up, like, just play with that. Like usually, like sensation starts coming in your body because that's usually where we hold most of our tension to dissociate from our bodies.
Yeah.
Like immediately I started feeling something because I was definitely holding tension there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've like since like starting some of this work like a few years ago, the biggest like point of tension is always like right here in the back of my neck. And yeah, bro, it's a lot because it also too, it's so much physical tension that that ends up being like the main, like it's so physical that a lot of the emotional stuff is like still buried below that. And it like I just know intellectually that there's so much, but there was a sit that I did earlier this week, where typically I'm like constantly adjusting during my meditations. I'm just like, it's just so painful. Like I'm even doing this on this call. There's just so much tension and I'm like cracking and stretching and releasing. But this one sit, I allowed myself to just like not move, which is like typically very difficult for 20 minutes or so. And the entire like upper back and upper part of my neck just lit up like red hot. And I was just like, there's this anger. And the anger was like my anger towards myself of like not moving. I was like, fuck you. Like I need to move. Like I fucking hate this shit. And that was really cool to let come up because I think typically, you mentioned this, like the numbness is like a feeling and that's okay too. I would get stuck there because I would feel the numbness. I would go into the numbness, and then like I'd be working with a coach, and they'd be like, "All right, like stay with the numbness. What's the numbness like?" And what I didn't realize was the numbness quickly went away, and the frustration came in. I'm like, "This is fucking stupid. Like, I don't want to feel this fucking numbness. Like, this is like this woo woo bullshit. Like, I don't want to fucking do this. Like, this is dumb." But we were stuck on the numbness because that's what I had like identified verbally. And more recently realizing, oh, there's like more stuff under the numbness. Like yes, I can feel the numbness, but I don't have to stay there. There's like, yeah. Yeah, that's been an interesting development. I think like for me it was helpful to realize, oh, like it doesn't just stop at like one thing. Like letting it evolve, letting whatever comes come.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like obvious in hindsight, but something about the somatic like realization is pretty powerful.
Yeah. I remember you had the coaching with Tara, and that was fucking awesome. Just context, we took Great Decisions course together, and Kyle got coaching from Tara Howley. It was really cool to watch him be in his body.
Yeah, that was funny too because afterwards I was like, "Fuck, I didn't get anything out of that." We just like it was just numbness the whole time. Because I was also like, because I was on stage, like, I just get super activated, like being so visible to other people and being vulnerable in that way, and it was easier for me to access the sensations because my nervous system was just lit up. But
Yeah.
like when I'm meditating in the afternoon, it's like it's the opposite. I'm like super dampened. It's really hard to find any sort of sensation.
Mm.
Um, but rewatching that helped because then I got the sensation of like, oh fuck, like people had to sit through this, and then I can work with that.
It's like the triggering exercise. It's like, oh, go watch something triggering and go feel your feelings there or something.
Yeah, yeah.
What else is there for you about masculinity?
For me, there's something about boundaries and like the willingness to push other people's boundaries or like to. Um, I noticed a strong distinction here between like receiving rapid coaching from Joe versus with Tara. Like Joe was able to very much like push on me, like challenge me. Um, Whereas working with Tara was a lot more like soft, embodied, like we'll work at your pace, like, what's here. And Joe was like just fucking attacking my sticking point.
He was like, I see
Um,
you hiding.
yeah, and he's like, "You're not fucking getting away." Like I, and I very much needed that. And I think a lot of coaches in the this space like aren't very good at that. There's like an overarching, predominantly feminine quality. I've noticed at least. I've felt this way of like, okay, like let's do it at your own pace. Like let's not push things too hard. Um, but I have so many defense mechanisms that if you do that, we're never gonna get anywhere. I need to be like challenged. Like I need some sparring to occur for there to be like development.
Conscious leadership group, like met with a couple of coaches or seen them coach, and it's so like direct and pointed. Um, I feel like they go the opposite end, where like there's not enough heart. And my experience with working with coaches who work mostly intellectually, even like Byron Katie stuff of like is that true? Like what happens if you reverse it? Is that true? Like is that really true? Like all the Byron Katie work is very intellectual. It's very sharp. Like, you just like cut through your bullshit. And I feel like that's what's kind of needed for people who are more in their heads of like need something that cuts through the bullshit. But I really do like the soft-hearted, like the more yin approach of like, yeah, we'll go at your own pace. It's very not destabilizing. I remember after I got coached by Joe, I was fucked for like a week. And there's like a general experience of like, it can be very, it's gonna like cut the root. And then everything that like was built on top of it is gonna come crashing down. And that might take some time to integrate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like no, that's that's so real. I like after my rapid coaching with Joe, I like immediately turned off my camera and just started bawling. Um, and then like the next week, I quit my job. I like had this long conversation with my ex. Like I just yeah,
Everything
um,
just,
yeah. But like I wanted that. Yeah, I think there's like that too for me was helpful, and yeah, I'm interested to like I'm curious about what the balance is because it definitely can be very destabilizing, and people going into this work from like the more traditional like self-development realm are looking for like quick transformation or like a quick sort of epiphany or like just click moment, um, some like observable change to at least like send them down the path a little bit. Because otherwise it's like very meandery at first. Like I think it took me at least a year or two to even believe or be open, be less skeptical about what like all of this stuff.
What I'm hearing is like, which is my experience as well, is like you did a shit ton of work before that coaching call, and you had
Mm-hmm.
like all the dominoes lined up for him to push it down. Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like he did this for you. It was like you did all of this, and he was the one who pushed the final domino because he knew how to do it. But like my assumption is if you just kept doing just like connection course stuff or like more inner work, like it would have all fallen anyways. Um, there was more like he like threw a bomb there, but you had already gathered all the material for the bomb to blow it all up. Um, which is my experience as well of like Joe of like if you've done a connection course, like you just did fucking like 3 weeks of intense digging, and then he just like blows it up. But if you didn't do the digging, there's nothing to blow up. So then even for him, there's not that much material to work with. It's like you're
Mm-hmm.
creating the material for him to work on. You're creating the uncertainty. You're bringing up the projects. And I feel like it's the same thing for like people getting into the work. Like the masculine energy is like, oh, I can blow this up. But like the feminine energy helps you dig up the things of like, oh yeah, like be loving, be caring, be there. Show that you're loved in your patterns. Show that you're loved in your stoic narcissism. Show them that they're okay. Like they're not doing anything wrong. And show them how you are showing up, which is like loving and open hearted. And they'll be like, I want some of that. And you just like keep showing up with them in that way. And then people dig up their own emotional project. And then the masculine like slaps them. And then they see all the shit that they just dug up and they're like, ah! But I feel like there's that like both was needed. Like I'm assuming for you, for me, both was needed. Like I had like I dug up a bunch of shit, and then I had an explosion, and then it fucking flowed. Like it was just like a nonstop rolling after that. Like I needed like the continuous attention, love without judgment really, to be able to have all the emotional projects up or like have the main thing dug up before it blew up. How does that land?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah, like what comes up for me is a metaphor of like planting the seeds. There's like the gardening, and then there's the harvesting, right? Which is like all in, one fell swoop. Um,
Yeah.
but it takes that build up for sure. Yeah. Hmm. I think something else that comes to mind is I think of Dr. K as like a phenomenal like marketer bridge to a lot of this work. He's really good at speaking to those people who are still in the phase zero or like, not even really thinking about this kind of stuff. And he's really good at meeting them where they're at. Like you just look at his YouTube channel, the video titles are like, why you're not enough. Like, what you need, like, what a true alpha looks like things like that, where it's very like if you watch Dr. K, you're like, well, what does this have anything to do with what he teaches? But um, like you could say he's really good at clickbait, and I'd agree. And it's like in the service of like bridging this what I see as like a chasm of like two worlds.
I feel like both of us started. I would feel like, in an odd way, Dr. K is more feminine energy for me. Of
Really?
like, he'll meet you where you're at. He'll like he'll point, but like he'll always meet you where you're at and like take you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you're able to dig up projects. And then there's also like both the masculine and the feminine in there. But like
Mm-hmm.
I also got started with Dr. K like 3 years ago. No, 4. It's been a long time. 4 or 5 years, 5 years ago. Dr. K's been around, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
5 years, 6 years ago. It's been a long time. But like I also started with Dr. K, and like he's really good at like meeting people where they're at. I really like that, and
Mm-hmm.
they feel met, and they walk with him a little bit. Maybe they keep walking, or they may find someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember in particular his stream with Sneeko. And Sneeko comes in just like guns blazing. He's like, I don't believe in therapy. I think your job is bullshit. Like, I think your whole profession is like completely useless. And then they end up like buddy buddy, and like it goes really well. And that transformation is just like, ah, that was cool. That's powerful.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I love how it went from like general masculinity to like more specific like coaching and inner work related. I mean, they're all inner work related, but I like that. I feel pretty complete.
I feel like I'm still constantly exploring this project of masculinity, what it is. It's just so relevant to like the work that I'm doing right now, and yeah, it's funny. Like, you know, we were talking a couple of days ago, and I'm just like, with each passing day, I have less and less understanding of what masculinity is in some ways. I'm just like, it's everything and nothing at the same time.
I mean, that's generally like, yeah. I mean, I did a podcast with Dennis like 2 podcasts ago. And that's probably like, he was talking about work. It's like, what is work? And it's like, work is just being yourself. Like, that's what we got here now. And I feel like Matt was like, what is masculinity? It's like, masculinity is just being yourself. What is femininity? Femininity is also just being yourself.
Yeah.
Great. That feels like a good ending for me.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Kyle for getting on. It was a real joy to talk with you.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Peace.
Peace.